Tell them hi. Say hello. Hi. So today is Monday, which is usually when I would film a tea video, but I woke up today, didn't feel like it. It was cloudy. Also, I needed to watch the Harry and Meghan interview. So I dug through my camera. I forgot that I did this Q&A before Christmas. I know, I'm so late. So this is what you get. Tea should be later this week, depending on what happens. I'm waiting for a few things to see what happens, but yeah. Okay, sorry, bye. Hey, hi, hello. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and as you can tell, we're in my kitchen, so we're baking today. So in this installment of Desserts and Discussion, it's not really a discussion, I'm answering questions that you all asked me. I know you all think I live this exciting life, and I'm here to tell you that I do not. But I'm baking some spiced molasses cookies that are so easy to make and so delicious. I've made them a lot, so I like to go with recipes I've made a lot because there's less chance of me messing it up. And I'm going to answer some questions. I'm not going to get to all of them because I asked on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube just to get a good amount of questions, and I got more than I was anticipating. So this is part one, and then part two will come whenever because you know I'm a mess. So let's get it popping. This is not an original recipe. It's by Martha Stewart. I'll link it in the description below, but it is really simple. So they're molasses cookies, and I know if you're just thinking about molasses on its own, oh, it smells not great, does not taste great, but in these cookies, delicious. So I'm using my KitchenAid. You can obviously do this by hand, but it's easier if you have a mixer. And I also have on pajamas. And we just took matching PJ pictures, so deal with it. But first I'm gonna mix up the dry ingredients, and then I will start answering some questions. So a lot of people asked similar questions. How did I move to Sicily? How did I move abroad? What was that experience like? And I feel like you're going to be disappointed with my answer because we did not move ourselves. My husband is in the Air Force, so they moved us. He got his orders and he already had a government passport. We already had tourist passports, but I had to get a government passport myself and apply for a visa. That got approved. There's a lot of other stuff you have to do through the military, like doctor's appointments and all this stuff. But they did everything. So they usually move your things a few months in advance. And I'm trying to remember, I think they only came and moved all our furniture like 2 months before we were gonna leave. And we moved last July. So they hired a company, and it depends on the company that you get. Our contract with the company did not allow us to pack anything because if we did, then it wouldn't be insured if it was lost or damaged, which really broke my heart because I wanted to pack my books. But the company did it. They did damage some and my bookshelf, but for the most part, my books were fine. So I know someone also asked, how did I move all of those books? So I have moved before, but like in the same town, and I packed up all my books myself. Did pay for a moving company to like move it because my husband was deployed. But for this move, they packed it all up. So they packed up our whole house, and we kept like one room of immediate stuff that we weren't gonna take with us or could fit in a carry-on or fit in a suitcase. And then they shipped the rest to Italy. And then they ship your car. They'll ship one car. So they shipped a car, and yeah, that's basically it. I mean, there's a lot more stuff that goes into it more intricately. But it's just a lot of paperwork and a lot of time and appointments. Very tedious. But so I'm sorry there's no exciting answer, except I'm married to someone in the military and he got stationed overseas, so that's how I'm here. And then someone said, what country am I in? So I'm in Italy, but I'm on the island of Sicily, so not on the mainland. And, you know, we've been here a year and a half, but a year of that has been COVID. So we did get to explore a little bit the first 6 months around the island. We went to Italy to visit some places, and then we went to a couple other places, but definitely not as much as I had planned. We had a lot planned this year and had to cancel everything. Someone asked me, what's my favorite TV show? Okay, I have a lot. I would say obviously The Office and Parks and Rec, because those are some I continue to rewatch. I know that's a very generic answer and everybody says that, but honestly, they're amazing and I'm so pissed. They're not gonna be on Netflix anymore. I also love Call the Midwife. I've watched all 8 seasons and then I rewatched all 8 seasons almost right after I finished it, and now I'm on the 9th season that recently came out. I'm obsessed. I know it sounds weird, but it's such a good show. I love Parenthood. Oh, so good. And I love some older shows like Living Single. Still holds up. It's amazing and hilarious. Charmed. I love Charmed. I don't know how many times I've watched Charmed all the way through. It's been a lot and it's still amazing. And I'm probably forgetting a bunch, but they did ask my favorite show and I just gave you multiple shows, so my bad. Ooh, someone said, how did I come up with Book CommuniTEA? And honestly, I'm trying to remember. So back in July, I think is when I started my YouTube channel, and I was really like, I was watching videos on like how to start BookTube and things like that, and I knew that there's a lot of people on BookTube and that is hard. I'm gonna say it, I don't read any books. I don't have like a really niche genre that I read. I read books that everybody else reads. There's other adult fantasy and sci-fi reviewers, so I was like, I'm not gonna stand out in any way. And something that has always bothered me on Twitter are the subtweets, because I'd be like talking to my friends and I'd be like, I saw this, do you know what that means? They're like, no. And I have to go to a bunch of people and get to the source and finally figure out what it was, because it drives me bonkers. And so I was like, then something happened. You know, there's always drama. And it was, the first thing was like the TikTok versus book Twitter or book talk. And I was like, maybe I should do like a video so I can, because I was confused and then I figured it out. I'm like, I bet you there's other people who are confused. So then I made that video, and then the thing with the reading rush happened and I was like, well, and it started like that. Honestly, like I said before, I love drama when it does not include me. I love to watch it unfold. I got my popcorn. I just like to know what's going on. So that is how it started. My favorite snack to eat while reading, cookies, ice cream if I'm reading on my Kindle. I also love candy, like sour candy, sour strips, or gummy bears. Yeah, anything really. Popcorn. I do not discriminate on bookish snacking. Okay. There's my dry products all whisked together. So this is flour, baking soda, cinnamon, nutmeg, salt in here. And then in my mixing bowl, I'm gonna do butter and sugar. Let me tell you what, my favorite butter is Kerrygold, and I cannot find it here. It's upsetting. So this is gonna mix till it's all mixed. Spatula to scrape down the sides of the bowl when I'm using my mixer, so that's what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna put the molasses in, which is very messy and sticky, so if you make it, be careful. So it should look like this. So that's molasses, egg, sugar. Yeah, molasses, egg, butter, sugar mixed up. Then I'm gonna slowly add in the dry. I'm not gonna add it in all at once, probably like 3 separate things until it all mixes up, and then it'll be ready to scoop. Looks very similar to before I put the flour in, but now it's just obviously thicker. I don't know if you can see that. I need a camera. Oh well. So I got cookie scoop, and I'm just gonna scoop them out. These cookies do spread a lot, so you can't put that many on a cookie sheet. And so you scoop them into a ball, and then this is just regular granulated sugar. Then you roll the ball in the sugar, and then you put it on the cookie sheet. So, ooh. Someone asked what's my favorite skincare product. Oh, just one. So definitely CeraVe's healing ointment. I learned that from an esthetician on Twitter, Tiara Willis. Changed my life. Part of the glazed donut gang. It's what I use at night at the end of my skincare routine, and it is amazing. But then I also would have to say Paula's Choice 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. Incredible. It's amazing. I used to do physical scrubs for exfoliators, and I don't do that anymore. I've definitely noticed a huge change using the BHA. So love that for me. Favorite thing to bake? I would say these cookies or the chocolate chip banana cookies that I did last time, because they're delicious and they're simple, and every time they've come out great. I had a question about like what was the hardest thing I've tried to bake. Let me tell you something. I tried to make, well, chocolate chip cookies definitely would be up there because they're just not up to my standard. Also, I tried to make a chocolate babka, and it turned into a blobka because I think my butter was too soft and the dough was just so squishy, and and the chocolate to go inside was warm, and it just fell apart. It was a disaster. I mean, I ended up baking it, but it was definitely a blobka, and yeah, I don't know if I would try that anymore. And also bread. I have yet to perfect sourdough bread. I've had some decent loaves, some really terrible loaves, but still have yet to perfect one I'm proud of. And baguettes. Bread is hard, okay? Bread is hard. This is how many I put on my big cookie sheet. Roll. So I put 9 on a big cookie sheet, and then they bake for like 10 to 12 minutes, depending on your oven. I usually do about 11. Ooh, someone said tell us a story about getting Nigel. Ooh, someone says, sounds like you like to travel and have traveled a fair bit. Which countries have you visited, and where would you love to go in the future when the plague is over? So I've traveled the majority of Western Europe. I have been into Eastern Europe, but only Poland and the Czech Republic. So I would definitely love to just see more of Europe, go back to some of the places I visited. I really want to go back to London. I think I've been there the most. I want to go back to Spain. I really want to visit Scandinavia. I've never been there. I want to go to Iceland. I've only been to their airport. I love to just go back and visit all the places that I've already visited because I enjoyed all of them. I also want to go to Asia. My plan for this fall was to go to Dubai, but that obviously is not happening. So which countries have you visited? And I would love to get to Australia and New Zealand, South America. I essentially want to go to all 7 continents, yes, including Antarctica, okay? So once the plague is, ending or falling off, whatever, first and foremost, I don't know why, I want to go to Scandinavia. I really want to go to Norway or Finland. I want to go to Austria. I want to go to Dubai. Those are relatively easy from here. I want to go so many places. I really want to go to Nairobi, Kenya, to visit the Giraffe Manor. I want to go to Patagonia, down in Chile. I want to go everywhere but money. But I think immediately as soon as the pandemic is over, I really want to go to Norway, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, somewhere up there. And then hopefully can get back to just scheduling regular trips like we were at first. Oh, and someone asked how old Nigel is. So right now he is 10 months. Oh my God! Andrew, Nigel's 10 months! Yesterday! Oh my God, we forgot! So Nigel is 10 months. As of, well, the 23rd. I'm filming this on Christmas Eve. Wow, I'm a terrible mother. I'm a terrible mother. He will be a year on February 23rd. But yeah, he's 10 months. What is a book series you didn't think you would enjoy, but you ended up loving it or liking it a lot? Well, a book is definitely The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I did not think I would like that at all, and I loved it. The Infernal Devices as a series, I read the first three books in the Mortal Instruments, and was very, but then I heard so much praise and like growth in her writing for The Infernal Devices, and I actually really loved that trilogy. So that was very surprising. Favorite memory as a child? When I was an only child. Let me stop. This is going to be so random, but one that sticks in my mind is seriously when I was an only child. It was me and my mom, and I'm from South Carolina, so we eat boiled peanuts there, and we had boiled peanuts, and we were eating them together while we were watching The Wizard of Oz. Do not ask me why that is. It is cemented in my mind. It's a really great memory because, I mean, we were thick as thieves when it was just me and her. Good times. And then also I just have fond memories of like summers, especially when I was like in elementary school, because of how we got to go to the library every week. I think we went on like a Saturday, and I think our library had like a 24 or 25 book limit, and me and my sister would check out the limit of books and we put them in our little tote bag, and then we read through them and then go back the next week or weekend. And I just always loved that. We just read so much, and my mom loved it that she didn't have to like force us to read. We just really love reading, so those are some really good memories as well. I hope you can see them. That's how they look. Oh, they smell so good. They smell so good. Someone said, do you have a job outside of BookTube? And what are your other interests besides books and reading? So I do not. One of the things about being overseas is you cannot work like outside of the base. It would violate the agreement between the Italian government and the US government. So I can't work outside of the base, and the jobs on base are limited, and I've applied for some. They're hard to get because there's so many people here who are so qualified and overqualified for the jobs, and they take forever to hire people anyway. So I do not have a traditional job here. The majority of spouses don't. There's just not enough. So the only thing I do is I do like bake and make ice cream, and I sell it. Like we have a page where people sell, it's called like home cooks. So people sell meals, desserts, stuff like that. And obviously like when I unhauled some books, I sold them on the Facebook group here. So that way, and then obviously I make a little piece of change from YouTube. But no, I do not have a traditional job, and I miss my paychecks from when I worked full-time, but I do not miss working full-time. I am a full-time dog mom and housewife, and a homemaker, and it's a lot. I can't imagine people who do this and have children. Like, I'm exhausted. But outside of books and reading, I honestly love to bake and eat. I love to eat. I would say sometimes I like to cook and sometimes I don't. This year has made me I'm tired of cooking. I'm sick of it. There's not a lot of options. So I have to cook almost every day, and I'm tired of it, but I love to bake. I love to make ice cream and eat ice cream. I go through phases of liking to work out, and sometimes I don't, but I do enjoy that, especially when the gym is open, because there's nothing compared to the feel of the barbell and lifting heavy. I feel so badass. I love playing The Sims. I did neglect it for a little while when I started YouTube, just trying to find like how to balance out everything, but I love playing The Sims. I love creating drama in my Sim family, like Are You Surprised? And then sometimes I just like to watch TV, like I'm a big rewatcher. for TV and movies, Andrew's always like, we need to watch this. And I'm like, but I'm rewatching this, I'm busy. But it's very much a comfort thing for me. I get so attached to fictional characters, not just in books, but in TV and movies. So I get really anxious, like starting new things and getting attached to them and then something happening to them. So I tend to rewatch a lot of things. So I love to do that. But yeah, those are what I like to do. Obviously, spend time with Nigel, and I would say travel, but can't do that this year. And actually, let me take that back. I do not enjoy the act of traveling. Like, I cannot stand airports and flying on airplanes because I'm broke, so I've never been able to fly first class. So always squeezed in economy. I do not enjoy traveling. I enjoy vacationing. I like getting to the place and being there and doing all the things there. I just wish you could teleport, because traveling blows. Like, let's be honest. It sucks. I hate it. Someone asked, is it difficult to get books from America in Italy? In Italy, well, where I am, yes, there are no English bookstores. There are bookstores, obviously, that have small sections of books in English, but they rarely have what I'm looking for, so I order all of my books online. So I wouldn't say it's hard, it's just slow, because the average, when we first got here, our average mail took 7 to 12 days to arrive, but COVID really slowed that down, and it's been, it could be 2 weeks to honestly 6 weeks, 2 months. Like, it really just depends. Stuff gets lost or somehow gets sent back to the States, and then it depends on where you order stuff from, because even if I order something from Italy, it's going to ship to the United States because my address is considered a US address, and then ship back to me here. So it's not difficult, it's just slower. And so that's why I use the library a lot, because every book I come across, if I had to order it and wait, obviously I'm not going to get it in 2 to 4 days. It's going to be a couple weeks, so that's a downside. But it also has helped my book buying, because just don't buy as many books. What's the most tolerable book to film adaptation for you? And what's the worst? I think, oh my God. The wind just opened the door, but it scared the shit out of me. The Hunger Games, I think, is a great adaptation. I really enjoyed the movies, and I reread the books before each movie came out. So even though obviously they're never going to be exactly the same, I did enjoy the Hunger Games adaptations a lot. And worst, I can't think of the worst. I'll have to come back to that. Tacos or wings? Wings. Morning or night? No. Night. Working as a team or alone? Alone. If you could go back in time, what year, moment would you travel to, visit? And if you could go back in time to change one thing, what would it be and why? Okay, so I'm going to assume with this question that we're gonna forget about racism, because there really is no good time for me to travel back to. Racism and sexism. So we're gonna take that off. I really feel like I would have enjoyed the 50s and the 60s, like sock hops and the like drive-ins, and I think that would be super cute. But then also like the 60s, like free love and drugs and shit. Sorry, I'm not saying that. Can I say that? Those just seem like interesting time periods. Also, this is gonna be really weird. Like the late 1800s, like think Little House on the Prairie, but obviously if, I wasn't black or slavery wasn't a thing. Because that whole homestead life, I would just like to experience it for a week. As long as Charles Ingalls and Caroline Ingalls are there. So those are some time periods. Also, I feel like the I'm trying to think. Like a certain period I think it would have been cool to travel Europe in like the 50s. I don't know why, but I feel like it would have been cool. And then if I could go back and change one thing, I don't know. I want to say I would go to Jeff Bezos' garage and stop him from creating Amazon, but then again, because everything has unintended consequences. I would go back to whenever they decided we were going to have 2 political parties and slap whoever decided that upside the head. How about that? What is a book or series you would love to see adapted for TV or movie? So this is hard, but because there's so many. I think the 5th season would be a phenomenal series if done by the right person. I just think of all the, like, the world that N.K. Jemisin wrote and described, and I want to see that on screen. And because I finished the series. I need to reread it though, because I was like, what? Like, it's to me, a very complex series. I still really enjoyed it, but I feel like I can love it even more with a reread, but that would be an awesome adaptation. What's my favorite beverage? Because you're always sipping on something. Yes. I've really grown to love water, but that's really boring. I really love sweet iced tea, like real sweet. I do not make it often because I could drink a gallon a day, honestly. But especially in my videos, mostly I drink iced coffee with French vanilla creamer and sugar-free Red Bulls. I prefer the sugar-free ones over the regular ones. I also fallen in love with Crystal Light because I mostly drink water. Sometimes I want to spice it up. And my favorite flavors, because you want to know, are the wild strawberry, because it tastes like a healthy version of strawberry Fanta, which is one of my favorite sodas. The mango strawberry, I think, or mango pineapple, and then the raspberry lemonade. So good. But yeah, if I drank soda all the time, I would just drink like Dr. Pepper, strawberry Fanta, Barq's root beer, or I would drink sweet tea. But can you share advice on starting BookTube? I do not feel like I'm the person, but I'll tell you what I can. So I looked at these videos. I watched like how to start YouTube, a BookTube when I first started, and I'll link some of those below if I can find them. But my most important thing I would say is start with what you have. And so I started with my phone. I had an iPhone 8 at the time, and I'm still on a phone. I just upgraded to a new phone, so it's an iPhone 11. And that was it. I had that. I mean, I do have beautiful shelves, but I've had those for years now. The only thing I bought after a few videos was a tripod because I was trying to balance my phone on the windowsill and on books. So that's all I bought. And I'm still doing that now. I had already purchased a MacBook a couple years ago, so I use iMovie to edit. I didn't buy any editing software, and I used the free music that was there. So I would say start there because you don't know how it's going to turn out, if you're going to enjoy it, if it's something you want to keep doing. And so spending much money up front doesn't make any sense. And then just be yourself. There's so many people on YouTube, on BookTube, and I think in the end, what's going to help you the most is going to be your personality that someone's going to click with. Because at the end of the day, even if you only read specifically historical romance, there's still other people who do that. So it's going to be your personality. And I know I'm not for everybody. I mean, I listen to my voice and I'm like, why does anybody watch my videos? But there's somebody for everybody. So start with what you have and be yourself. And then I would say early on, decide how often you want to put out content and like make a plan. And I say this as a person who did not make a plan, and I'm still flying by the seat of my pants. But if you're like, I'm gonna put out 1 video per week, then maybe record a couple videos in advance so then you can edit and put them out and have time. Don't be like me. Or if you wanna do 2 videos a week, and it'll maybe take a couple months and you can learn when your audience is most likely to view the videos. So film videos in advance, at least a couple to get yourself going. After a couple weeks, months, you can kind of see your analytics and see when your videos perform the best, if you care about that. And then just talk about books that you love, read books that you want to read, and don't just choose books or read books because they're popular. What you can do, sometimes it's fun to a book that's getting really hyped, read it and see what your reaction is, but don't do that for every book you read because it's going to come across when you're talking about them if you're constantly reading books you don't enjoy. So I hope that helps. I am not the expert, but definitely just start with what you have and go from there. But I did not get to all the questions. I rambled and then I was baking for too long, so I'll definitely have to do a part 2. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try this cookie recipe because it's super delicious. They're chewy in the middle, a little crispy around the edge. Woo! Here they are. So good, so quick to make. And again, that recipe will be linked in the description, as well as lots of other links to issues going around on the world, different book shopping alternatives if you're interested, and links to my social media if you would like to follow me or Nigel. But thank you so much for watching. Give this video a thumbs up, please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!